Hi everyone, it's Lori from Crystal Earth Magic, and I'd like to talk a little today about the importance of meditation. And a little bit on how to do it, a few tips. A lot of you are probably old pros at meditation, but I find that it never hurts to find how other people do things or tips or things that have helped other people in the past. So meditation is so important because, especially in this crazy world full of noise, full of distractions, full of insanity, it is a time when we can be quiet, we can be still, and we can connect to our inner being. And our inner being is our higher self, source, God, the ascended masters, our angels, all of our team, our guides that are around us. That is what happens in meditation is you connect. And it doesn't matter if you're addressing one particular being or just saying your team of the highest love and the highest light. You get your answers if you take the time, and if you can get yourself to that still place where your mind stops and you stop talking and start listening, and then you get the answers to your questions. When I was first beginning meditation, I found that I could not sit still. Everybody doesn't have to sit there and om in the lotus position for 10 hours a day. That's just not how it works for a lot of people in the real world. Pardon me. And I found that I needed to be moving. I used to walk or ride my bike, and I got some of the deepest and most profound meditations when I was out in nature and doing a moving meditation. And this is why things like Tai Chi and yoga and Qigong and things that are moving meditations have always worked for people. But how about something just like walking, gardening, riding a bike? Just being outside in and of itself is so helpful to get you to that still point where your mind shuts off. And a lot of times, if we have a particular issue that we're wrestling with and we're looking for answers or solutions to what we perceive as a problem or an issue, set that intention before you go out on your walk or on your gardening adventure or whatever you're going to do. And there's nothing wrong with sitting in stillness. I mean, that is an absolutely wonderful thing to do. Perhaps putting on some inspiring music. I mean, there's so much amazing music out there these days. Especially, you can get it on YouTube, you can get it wherever, especially some of the solfeggio stuff and the binaural beat stuff and singing bowl stuff. I mean, it's everywhere. There's ambient music that promotes the 432 hertz energy, the grounding energies of the earth, the different chakras, but whatever you need to do to get yourself to that place. But setting your intention before you begin. If you have a question like, what is my best path forward? What is in the highest good here? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then set that intention and forget about it and listen. And if you can do that, you're going to have all sorts of answers coming in. And it may come right away. It may come during the meditation. It may come after the meditation. It may even come like a week after. But if you consistently do this, you'll get your answers sooner and in our real linear time. But understand that once you trust and once you develop that connection, you're going to get the answers you need, and you will trust that. So understand, if it comes a week later, a month later, that's when you need it. The answers will be there when you need it. We're such a time-driven society, and we're very much into instant gratification. We want everything to happen right away, right away, right away. And sometimes the right away is not in our highest good. And when you start to meditate or meditate more or develop that real connection with your team, your inner being, your source, your guides, your star families, when you start to develop that, there's nothing like it. That you're always getting the guidance that you need. Now, we all have times when it's more difficult to connect than others. And the way that it's been explained to me, and it makes complete sense, is when we are going through a major shift, and most of us are going through major shifts quite rapidly, instead of like one a year, one every 5 years, we're going through one a week. Sometimes every day there's a major shift. Sometimes when we're in the midst of a major shift, it seems as if we cannot connect to our team. They're there. It's not that they're not there. They're always there. But the way it was explained to me from my team is that the teacher is always silent during a test. In other words, they can't influence us during the shift because this is part of our journey and our integration. They are always there for guidance and for love. But sometimes it seems like they go quiet. And that is when you can be certain that you're going through a major shift. Now, you're always supported. You always have what you need. But going through that major shift is, I don't want to say an individual journey, but it is in a way, because it's your soul testing you to see if you've integrated the lessons of the previous cycle. And since these changes and shifts are coming so rapidly, it may seem very disconcerting, and we may feel like we're off balance a lot. And that can be true. Meditation helps bring you back into balance. But, if you feel like you're not connecting, and you know that your mind is still, and you know that you are in a place of reception and being receptive, just know that perhaps you're going through a major shift and you just need to go through it. And the best advice that I was ever given for that is to go do something else. Go do something that brings you joy. Go out and do something, or stay in and do something, read a book, watch a movie, work with your crystals, work on some self-healing, some self-care, go out to the park, go out and do some gardening, whatever it is that you love to do, and just get away from it for a while. Don't obsess with the fact like, oh my God, I can't connect with my guides. You can. Sometimes there is just a lull because you're going through a shift and they don't want to influence you. Again, that would be against universal law for them to come in and do it for you, right? So sometimes there is that quiet, but most of the time we can connect. And sometimes during our life, we're better at it than others, or we have better luck than others, but know that you're always connecting and they're always there. That stillness of mind is the most important thing. And in this world, it is very difficult. We have racing, looping thoughts, and it is sometimes hard to find that stillness, that quiet. But the more you practice it, just like any other thing that you're practicing or learning, just like working out strengthens muscles, it's the same kind of thing. When you are practicing something faithfully, day in, day out, every day, it becomes easier and it becomes second nature. And that just in a second you can connect. You don't have to have a big ritual in order to get you into that place, unless that's what you like to do. Some people are very into that ritual. For me, I'm more practical. I want it to be something that I can do anytime I want, and any day, with no fanfare, and just boom, just me. I don't need anything. All of the things that we use, such as crystals or aromatherapy or incense, any of the things, those are all tools. They aren't the magic in and of themselves. We are the magic. And the important part is getting us to that place where we feel still. And we can actually stop the mind, stop talking, and start listening. We say that prayer is talking and meditation is listening. And most of us know how to talk, but listening maybe isn't our forte. And so we can all practice that and develop that without any problem. It just takes a little willpower to get going, and a little trust that you are surrounded by a beautiful team of benevolent beings that are here to help you on your earth walk. We are down here in this dense, difficult place to be. We're warriors. We have spent eons, infinite lifetimes throughout this multiverse, cultivating all of our wisdom and our knowledge and our experience. And we agreed to come down here into this density in order to bring light into the darkness, in order to shift everything in ways that our little human brains can't even possibly comprehend. All I do know for sure is that everything we do here on this small stage of Earth is being played out and reverberated throughout the galaxy, throughout the multiverse. And everything we do is so important. And all the beings from the universe are watching us because they're in awe of what the humans are doing against all odds. You know, when you can connect in meditation and find that place where you are in the zone, you know, I know when I'm teaching students, either Reiki or healing of any sort or meditation, I want them to feel it. You know, it's one thing to know what to do, but it's another thing to feel it, because that you can't deny the feeling once you are in that zone and you feel that source energy flowing through you unimpeded. And that is something that is life-changing, in my opinion. And I know the first time I felt that, it was life-changing. You know, that's what I call an awakening. When you can't deny that you are part of source. Source is in you. You are part of source. We are all connected. And in that meditative space, you know, even if it's just a light meditation, like say you're sitting having coffee in the morning and you just want to contemplate, that's still a meditative state. Now, we can learn to go a little deeper into what we call the theta brainwave state, where it's just above sleep. And we hit that every day before we go to sleep and as we wake up, you know, and in that space, there's often very profound messages. Sometimes we hear someone calling our name. Sometimes we realize that we were talking in a different language, you know, all sorts of things. Sometimes we see things and we wonder, oh, am I awake or not? And then when we open our eyes, the vision fades. So yeah, the thing was, no, you were deep in meditation. There's also the gamma brainwave state, which is that high frequency brainwave where you are just on, you're in the zone in a different way. Instead of being very relaxed and very, you know, almost asleep, you are very, 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 very alert. And this is when channeling happens. Now, certainly we can channel our higher self. We do all the time, you know, when words of wisdom just come out of us. When children come up to you, deliver a message, and then go back to play, and we say, out of the mouths of babes, right? They're channeling. All of us can become channels for the divine energy at any time, whenever we're open and receptive. And the more we do it, the easier it is to be that channel, because we're not in resistance. So how do we do that? First of all, I would suggest that if you're one that's kind of antsy and you need to move around, do it while you're walking. Do it while you're doing something else, and just set your intention. You know, I like to go for walks in the woods, and I'll set an intention before I go. And certainly by the time I'm done, I usually have my answer, or at least the next steps to take to finding a solution to whatever issue I'm questioning. That took some time to do. It doesn't happen overnight. Or it can for you, but for most people, it takes a little bit of time and practice, you know. So don't give up. Even if you're doing it for 5 minutes a day over a cup of coffee, it's something. It's a start. You know, you can work up from there. Some people really enjoy doing very long meditations. You know, other people fall asleep. Understand that if you fall asleep, that's where you're meant to be. And sometimes amazing things can come to you during that sleep state. And you wake up with answers or to any questions that you had before you went to sleep. I think our intention is very important. Because of universal law, our guides can't just tell us stuff without us asking. You know, that would go against everything universal law wise. So again, when we ask, they will answer. They will answer. Sometimes they'll tell you not at this time. Sometimes they will tell you that they can't, you know, give you everything that you want at that time. And, you know, most of us want answers to questions that just can't be answered about the world situation, about when's this ascension happening, about when is everything going to change. And understand this is a moving target, because it has to do with all of humanity collectively. Yes, individually, we can all evolve and ascend, but since we're in the midst of a planetary ascension, this is something that really is because of all of us, not just each of us individually. So again, we're having an individual journey as well as a collective journey. And the collective journey is all about the planetary ascension. You know, as we meditate and raise our frequency, there are other things that we can do. Sometimes we need to learn how to ground. And I've done another video on grounding, but just I'll talk about it again. It's just so important to connect our energy into the earth. It's like plugging in an outlet. If your house isn't grounded, right? We have lightning rods and different ways that our house is grounded. If it gets hit by lightning, it doesn't explode. And we are the same electromagnetic beings. When we get hit by stress and anxiety and crazy stuff, and boy, there's a lot of it around. If we are grounded, that energy can dissipate into the earth, and the earth can use it for different purposes, because she's got a lot going on too. And to her, it's just energy, and she'll transform and transmute that into whatever she needs for her purposes. For our purposes, though, in our little unique energetic being that we need to be grounded. Go out in nature, ask Mother Earth to come up into your body, sit by a tree, imagine that you have roots growing down into the earth. You can imagine that you have magnets on the bottom of your feet and that it's connecting to the magnetic center of the earth. Some people can ground in the shower and just imagine all the water running down into the earth and connecting you. There are a million ways. However you can visualize it, that's the way to do it. Try out some different ways. Also, crystals, very helpful. I mentioned that a lot, and there's many, many grounding crystals that you can look them up on my website, and I've talked about them in many videos. But again, black tourmaline, hematite, garnet, ruby, most of the jaspers and agates, bloodstones, it's serpentine. I could go on and on. There's so many. They will help you to ground. And I know a lot of you are always carrying your own stones to help you ground, especially black tourmaline in these days and these crazy times, because they're also protective, and they're protective of EMFs from the computer and from all of the things around us, our phones, etc. But give it a try. Go somewhere where you will not be disturbed. We all need a sacred space. Even if it's the corner of the basement, even if it's sitting in your car at lunch because it's the only time you can find privacy. We all need a sacred space where we cannot be disturbed, and just breathe. Again, you can do all the fancy breathing you want, but why don't you just start out by doing what's comfortable? Just breathe in and out. And as thoughts come, just let them go like little balloons, or like leaves going down a river. Let them come. Don't try to suppress your thoughts. Just let them come. You're aware of them, and let them flow. And try to distance yourself a little bit from any of the anxiety that comes up. Send that down, in your grounding. Let that dissipate with your grounding. Ask your guides to help you to calm. Music, often very helpful for a lot of people. Moving meditations, very helpful to dissipate that anxious, nervous energy. So again, just let those thoughts go and just be aware of them. Let them go with no charge. You don't have to figure that out right now. Just let them go and say you'll think about it later. Let your problems go for now. If you want to pick them up later, you can. You can ask your team to help unburden you. If you're willing to let go of those thoughts and those anxieties and anything that's making you feel in fear or nervous, any of that stuff. Again, intention is so important. It is the most important thing. Sometimes it is hard to stop our minds. And a lot of times there are unseen negative influences that are preventing us from connecting with our inner being and with our beautiful spiritual team. I'll talk about that in another video because I think that's very important. But again, ask your team to help you to calm down. I know when I'm doing healing sessions and people are having a hard time calming down, or when I'm doing hypnosis sessions and people are having a hard time getting into the hypnotic state, I'll ask their higher self to help. And often, almost all the time, it works. Their spiritual team will absolutely help them to get to the place they need to receive the information that they desire, because they're here to help us. We're down here. We agreed again to come down to this dense, dark place with our brilliant light from all of our eons and eternity of sojourns throughout the multiverse. We are beautiful beings of light. We are all very highly qualified to be here at this time. We volunteered. And so we're the ground crew, and our spiritual team is up there helping us as we go. We can't see what we're doing. We don't remember who we are. We don't know our connection to source in the way that we do when we're up in the higher realms. And our team is our eyes and ears up there, basically, and are transmitting help and information to us, although they can't do it for us. Again, a lot of people just want to wait for a savior that's going to take all their problems away and do it for them. And that's not how we evolve. So again, in meditation, try it for a few minutes a day. If you're out of the practice, try getting back into it by going for a walk in the woods. Here in Northeast Ohio, the trees are at their peak. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sunny day. Today's the 23rd of October. And I can't wait to get out there and do that. As soon as it warms up, we had a frost last night. So as soon as it warms up, we're gonna go take a long, long walk in the woods and admire the beautiful scenery. That's a meditation in and of itself, admiring all of the beauty around you. I mean, you can see God in every leaf, in every blade of grass, in every cloud, in the blue sky. You can see it everywhere, in every animal, every insect. You can see the God force, and you're part of that God force. You're connected to all of it. When you go out and try that walking meditation or that moving meditation, to me, that was the most helpful thing. Getting into this practice. After a while, you can meditate anywhere you are. You can meditate standing up on a bus, right? Or standing in line somewhere. You can. And eventually you can walk through your day in meditation. And that doesn't mean that you're disconnected. It means that you are alert and you're highly involved. However, you're also detached. You're not into the drama. You're not blown by every single wind that comes through. And there's a lot of that happening. So the more that we can detach and view things from that higher perspective, which meditation gives us that opportunity to see things from a higher perspective, everything looks different up there. Everything looks different up higher, and your problems have solutions up there. You can't solve a problem from the level that it was created, right? Albert Einstein said that, and many other spiritual masters have said that in different ways. So again, we have to find that higher perspective, and to do that, we need to calm down and go into a meditative state. Whatever level is right for you. You can play with it once you are more comfortable. Once you know that you can do it, you get that confidence and it's easier, and you know that you can connect with your team, your inner being, your higher self from wherever you are at any time, any place. A lot of people find driving in a car to be extremely good for meditating. That doesn't mean your attention is not on the road, because it is. It's just a way to get into that light alpha state of brainwaves in order for you to kind of mull things over and receive that information. Again, setting your intention. A good time too is when you wake up in the morning, set your intention for what you want your day to be like. And it's also a really good time to meditate, because you're coming out of that sleep state and you're in that theta brainwave state. And that's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. So I hope this was helpful. Also, keeping your body healthy, again, a little bit of exercise every day is wonderful. Drinking a lot of pure, clean water, eating healthy, whatever that means to you, practicing self-care in whatever way that means to you. And I hope that you add meditation to your self-care routine or ritual, whatever you want to call it. But let yourself do it. We're all when we start to meditate, we are led to believe that we're all going to see the technicolor vision of Jesus on the white horse. And folks, that's just not how it happens. You often don't see it with your open eyes. You see it with closed eyes, and sometimes it's very nebulous. Sometimes it's just colors. Sometimes it's parts of shapes. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Sometimes you may hear something, but it isn't with your physical senses often. That can happen. And, rarely it does happen to some people. Most of us will have one or two experiences like that. It often happens at the very beginning to get us in, right? But usually these experiences are very subtle. 3D screams, spirit whispers. And so you have to be quiet to hear the whispering. So anyway, just a little bit about the importance of meditation. When you connect to your inner being, there's no substitute for that. You'll find that that's what you've been craving all along. All of the places you tried to fill with other things, that was the connection you tried to fill all along. All of the looking outside yourself for recognition and kudos and love and acceptance, none of that matters anymore when you find it inside. You know, it's very nice, and it's something that will be a pleasurable thing, not a need, after you find it inside. And meditation helps you to find that inside. And there's nothing that gives us inner peace, inner confidence, and the feeling of sovereignty, and the knowing that you can create anything you want. That is, it is priceless, especially in this world, and especially needed right now. To take the time for yourself, put it on your schedule, on your calendar if you have to, you know, because we always come last in our world. Well, we shouldn't do that. We need to come first, because we can't help others unless we're full. We have to fill ourselves up and replenish. So many of you are service to others, individuals. You care for others, you're giving to others, you're healing others, whatever it is that you do in during your day, during your life. But we have to fill ourselves up, or we have nothing left to give. Meditation is the way to do that, to fill yourself up. Ask for what you need, set your intention, and trust that your team loves you beyond your understanding, beyond anything that you can even imagine, because they are part of Source, and so are you. And so they're family. They're not separate from you. They're inside, and they're all around you. Call on your favorite ascended master. Call on your favorite angel, call on your guides, whoever you work with, call on your star families. Just make sure that these are the highest beings, full of love and light. And I always say before I do a meditation that I am a sovereign being. Only love and light may enter my body, my energy field. I do not consent to any lower energies. You know, again, your word is sovereign. Speak it like it is so. So hope this was helpful, and I hope that you practice meditation in whatever way you're drawn to, even if it's just taking a walk in the woods and enjoying the beautiful fall scenery in silence. That's a meditation. That is a good one, and one that I'm going to do in a little bit here. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks. This is Lori from Crystal Earth Magic.